When someone is high, let's say high, for a very short moment in time, they become really present. A lot of people are. I mean, the addiction of power, the addiction of money, the addiction of, I don't know, running after time, of their jobs, 3 jobs. In fact, you see this a lot in society. I need to do as you want me to do, otherwise you will not love me. Kind of conditioned love. There's a lot of conditioned love. A lot of people blame, if you like, the external only. So it's either my husband or my kids or society or my job or this, and they get stuck there for quite some time. You can come home and share it. And I will not judge you, you know, because you find many people saying, no, le, ma sa ngħid l-alma, ma tarax, dik tmut bl-inkwiet.
Jiena Klera Ġusordwi, naħdem fuq it-televiżjoni u anke fil-medja soċjali. Passjoni kbira għal fitness u dak kollu li jista' jgħinna biex inħossuna tajbin mentalment u fiżikament. Dak kollu li nitgħallem, nirriċerka u nistaqsi ser inkun qed niddiskutih ma' professjonisti u nies b'esperjenzi li ser jagħtuna għodda li nistgħu nużaw biex ngħixu ħajjitna bl-aħjar mod possibbli. Podcast ieħor Reboot għal min qed jisma' dan il-podcast tal-ewwel darba. Reboot huwa dwar fitness, dwar nutrition, imma dwar is-saħħa kollha, ġifieri aħna li qed nagħmlu qed nistiednu nies illi jistgħu jaqsmu l-erf tagħhom billi jgħinuna u jtuna daqsxejn idejat fejn nistgħu nsibu l-għajnuna hekk weħilna x'imkien. Ġifieri dak li qed nippruvaw nagħmlu u dejjem ngħidulkom biex jekk taħsbu illi xi ħadd ser jieħu xi valur minn dan it-tip ta' podcast dejjem maqsmu tistgħu tagħmlu subscribe iċ-channel għax dan il-podcast jidher fuq Spotify, fuq YouTube, ġifieri hemm fejn tisimgħuh. Illum ser nitkellmu fuq addictions ma' persuna illi hija esperta f'dan il-qasam, Santina Camilleri, ilha taħdem f'dan il-qasam tal-addictions mill-1998. Ħadmet ma' mijiet ta' persuni li għaddew minn xi tip ta' addiction. Hija mexxiet diversi dipartimenti fil-Caritas u għandha degree f'Youth and Community fejn iffukat fuq ġenituri bi storja ta' addiction. Imbagħad komplet il-Master's degree fuq Drug Abuse u Attachment Disorder. Hija tajt, being mindful can give us new perspectives in life and an overall better sense of well-being. Ħanistaqsu għax tfisser. Nisgratta ħafna Santina tal-li oġbok tiġi. Kif inti?
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, inti. Feminna daqsxejn din il-frażi being mindful can give us new perspectives in life and an overall better sense of well-being.
And I link it a lot with addiction and with life. Why?
Okay.
Because when you speak to people, even every day, jew ikellmuk fuq il-passat, jew fil-futur, we're not present. Yes, I link it with addiction in the sense when someone is high, let's say high, for a very short moment in time, they become really present. They forget their problems of yesterday, of tomorrow. The concept of time dissolves, and they are really focused and present for a very short moment, għax hemm il-konsegwenzi wkoll. But I believe that there's a lot of urge, crave, desire to be in that present moment as well. Where you are really focused without a care of tomorrow or yesterday.
But we can get that.
We can get that without the drug.
Exactly.
And that is where mindfulness comes in, to try and go back to the body and a little bit out of our mind. So in the mind, I believe we're about enough, let's say from 1 to 10. We're 10 in the mind. And the body, no one takes any notice of it, you know. Per eżempju, ġieli għajduli, laqas ċans immur it-toilet ma kellni. We're not even listening. And to listen and acknowledge and respond, we have to slow down a bit. So when everybody's up in their mind, ovvjament, anxiety, you know, galore, or in the past, depression. So when you get people in the present moment, naħseb, you find out that you're really okay.
Is-inti għandek dan ix-xogħol li huwa tant tkun hemmhekk iffokata, tiltaqa' ma' dawn li se jirnexxielek issib il-ħin biex tkun mindful tajtin ħanislowja?
Yes. I made it a point in my life to slow down. With clients, you have to be very present. You cannot even check your mobile. Imma tara l-ansjetà, I mean, it's so evident in the body. You know? Before they tell me their problem, it shows. And it shows in our society as well.
Għana kulħadd addict illum il-ġurnata din il-frażi qrajta fi ktieb u beda jgħid isma' aħna kulħadd addict b'xi mod jew ieħor għas-social media, għall-ikel, għad-drogi, għax-xorb.
I think if we take it universally, no, I don't think that counts. If we have to see every country that there is, I don't think everyone is an addict.
Okay.
But a lot of people are. I mean, the addiction of power, the addiction of money, the addiction of, I don't know, running after time, of their jobs, 3 jobs. And I think society kind of even put us there sometimes, no?
Għalfejn nidħlu in addiction aħna, għalfejn nibdew nagħmlu xi ħaġa u nkunu rridu nibqgħu nagħmluha dejjem għax ittina xi sens ta' emozzjoni li
I think a bigger word than love is safety. So people are searching for safety. Some money might give you safety, for what I know. The more I make, the more I want. And it gives them a sense of security somehow. If we take drugs, I think the first time is one story. Why I carry on is a different story, you know. First time is a curiosity. Because even with a job and money, I'm making so much money, you know. I want to make more. And people get caught up, I call it on a hamster wheel, and it can be very self-destructive. Not only to the self, but even to the family members.
Addictions, ħanajlek, dan il-programm jisu ġi ispirat li x'kombinazzjoni l-tajt waħda mill-xaħat li kien isegwi il-programm tiegħi u għalt li aħna n-natfal, għalt li jiena miż-żewġa, għalt li raġel tiegħi qatt ma kien imiss droga, bħalissa qed immissu droga amka biex immorru party, jekk immorru mamudija, jekk immorru dejjem kulħadd irid ikun ferħan iż-żgħażagħ jagħmluha, mhux kulħadd ta'. Allura l-addictions qed jikbru jew dejjem baqgħu l-istess, dejjem kienu l-istess minħabba l-istress li qed ngħixu bil-ħajja għandna bżonn iktar sustanzi biex nżommu ruħna aktar kalmi jew dejjem l-istess.
I think the situation in many ways is getting worse, fis-sense where you see the amount of anxiety people live with, the amount of discomfort people live with, the amount of unhappiness and fear, even fear, no? It's nearly expected that they're going to turn to a drug, because let's not forget that we take a drug to remove a pain. Now, if I try it and I feel more comfortable,
I'll take it again.
I want it again. You know, so, I don't want to be misunderstood. I'm totally against it, but it's very understandable, you know. Even when you see how society is webbed up. You know, I can really understand why they end up using substances.
Ma ħażaqsik mistoqsija diffiċli, x'jiġi l-persuna li teqpa' tieħu, persuna li tajt le dan mhux affarijiet li għandi nieħu mela let me move.
There are other coping mechanisms, because it is a coping mechanism. If I manage to cope in my life better, I'm more comfortable. Or if someone says no, because if I carry on, I'll ruin something else. That gives me comfort and safety.
Okay.
It depends what the person is socially connected to as well. Maybe they have sports, which I believe in a lot. So if they do some kind of sports, they might...
Le, għax jekk ħanħu droga, l-sports tiegħi mhux ħajmur tajjeb.
Eżatt. Although we know a lot of sportsmen, unfortunately, who have turned to drugs.
Eżatt.
Why sports? Because sports is in the body and the mind calms down. As soon as you go to the body, the mind calms down. It slows down.
Li tibda tuħu droga jew tibda xi tip ta' addiction hija r-riżultat ta' untreated trauma.
Trauma is one of my favorite topics.
Għax bħalissa fuq hekk qed naqra ħafna, ġifieri b'xi mod jew ieħor u korreġini inti tista' tikkorreġini. Kulħadd b'xi mod jew ieħor għadda minn xi tip ta' trauma. Issa tiegħek tista' tkun kbira aktar minn tiegħi fajnejn l-oħrajn, imma ma jfissirx li jiena ma ħadtix bi kbira daqskemm ħadta inti.
We have what we call the big traumas, per eżempju the war, and then we have the small traumas with a small t. So a small trauma could be kważi l-affarijiet ta' kuljum ngħidilhom jien naf mother shouting at her child. Stop crying. I told you stop crying. So the child learns how to keep
inside
crying or keep whatever. So when a child is altered, because a child's going to say, I need to obey, otherwise mommy won't love me. In fact, you see this a lot in society. I need to do as you want me to do, otherwise you will not love me. Kind of conditioned love. There's a lot of conditioned love. So I alter and I cut and copy and paste. And when I grow up, I'm very shy and very uncomfortable and very... Because we have like two options, well, one option, but really there are two. Either to really be who I am, and you love me no matter what, or I will alter myself. And many people from a very young age
choose to alter.
Because we have no choice. We cannot really be who we are.
But that will backfire eventually once you grow older.
It's all the time backfiring. And not just with drug addiction, with people not comfortable or not even aware that they are not totally who they are. No? They have to please. They're concerned what other people think about them. They want to know, I want to know what my husband's thinking. I mean, there's so much concern and anxiety that it's impossible to do it. It's impossible to know what people think of you.
Dan il-podcast ma kienx ikun possibbli mingħajr Love GI. Ħobs Love GI, l-aktar ħobża bnina fi gżiritna, isiba biss fil-ħwienet tal-Maypole. Team Sport, il-post fejn isib l-aqwa brand sportivi bħal Diadora u Under Armour u l-aqwa ditti ta' żraben, sukoni u ħoka fost oħrajn. Isibuhom liklin u birkirkara. Hypro, prodotti mammolin bi proteina biżżejjed biex tikkumplimenta d-dieta tiegħek ta' kuljum u li ser jgħinuk fit-training li tagħmel biex tgħix ħajja aktar b'saħħitha. Gulon, gallettini bla zokkor b'toma bnina. Natru, ħalib plant-based b'ingredjenti naturali biss mingħajr zokkor miżjud. Fior di Vita, għal varjetà kbira ta' ġobnijiet. Ngħidu there's trauma. U kif qed ngħidlek bdejt naqra li jista' jkun li it will lead to addiction, sometimes it leads to sickness as well, if it's untreated. But it can be treated.
It depends what sickness, because a lot of people see addiction as a sickness as well. It can be treated if you, in my opinion, go back to challenging the person to express how they feel. Sometimes I ask them how they feel, and I've had a woman burst into tears. I mean, this is the first time in my life someone's actually asking. There are people who don't get it. They keep answering and telling me what they think. I keep trying to tell them, no, I'm asking for your feeling. And there's nothing. Now we're not feeling our bodies. We have disconnected our own self. If we're just using thought process, because we need to think, we need to feel, we need to behave. But the feeling bit has been shut down. So let's take drugs again, or work. When I take drugs, when I go to work, I feel alive. So I want more of it. It's expected that people are going to get addicted to it.
Even, Nasab, it's linked. This is not something I'm saying, it's something I read. It's linked also, it's fueled by depression and anxiety. We were mentioning tipo kemm stressanti l-ħajja llum il-ġurnata, allura jisek to slow down. Iżda
to rest, if you like.
Yeah,
to rest, to pause. From a very young age, now we have to get those grades, we have to go to school, we have to do this, we have to get the bus, we have to do homework. Oh my God. And then we're sleeping, and then repeat the next day, and people don't stop and say, wait, let me feel, let me see. And share it.
So that is what we should be teaching our children, to pause.
To pause, to feel, and give them space to express, and don't judge. Take the judgment away. You see people, even in therapy, I was so stupid. Whoa, where did you learn that? I've always been stupid. I said, no, you're not born stupid.
Even judging ourselves at times.
Even judging ourselves. We're constantly judging.
How can you not judge? Per eżempju, jekk jiena ngħid ara ma kontx tajba f'dil ħaġa, per eżempju, mhux ħasservini biex jiena naħdem aħjar.
But not everyone will interpret it like that. It depends. That's quite a motivator for you. So I can say, okay, I didn't manage, I'll do it this way. I'm learning from it, but to take
I
it
judge
down.
myself, Santina nibda ngħid kemm kont ħażina pereżempju, għamax mistħija, and it's embarrassing sometimes, taf kif. But jgħaddi żmien and you'll get to terms with the feeling.
Exactly, but you get to terms with the feeling.
Okay.
That's okay, and you will do better. But there are people who don't even try. They're full of... niftakart, and I like sharing this example. A father came down to the beach with a very, very young child. And the child tried to take a step forward towards the water. And the father from behind him shouted, telling him he's going to fall. And as that shout, you feel it vibrate in you, that this child got a fright, was going to lose his balance. And at that age, he said, okay, I'll try my other foot, I'll put up my other foot and take a step forward. And he shouted even more. So I thought, this child's going to grow up with anxiety, and every time he comes to try something new,
he's going to listen to his father, naħseb.
He's going to listen to his inner voice. He doesn't know it's his father, because we forget. And he'll tell me, I've always been like that. I say, no, you weren't born like that. You learned it. You see where the father should have gone in front of him and said, hey, come on, don't worry, I'm here. Walk.
Okay.
No, he stood behind him, so he gets this fright, and the body memorizes. So in the future, when he comes to try something new, he's going to freeze not knowing why. Thinking, I've always been like this. People talk about anxiety like it's a real normal part of life today.
Illum jisa kulħadd ansjuża meta fil-verità naħseb kulħadd ikollu emozzjonijiet differenti ma jfissirx li għax ġieli naqbad fit-traffic tkun tard. Illum kelli kollu ġej kontra ma jfissirx li għandi l-ansjetà propja, ma llum isna nsemmuha. Li kważi naħseb nispiċċaw nimnuha.
Yes, people tell me they tell me it's normal, no son. I say no, it's common. It's not normal, it's common. But because you see it everywhere, we accept it as being a part of our life. And on the body, it doesn't work too well.
Sekku, imma biex nagħtu tama. Ħafna kif qed tgħid kulħadd isemmi depression, anxiety, hawn min iwaħħal f'affarijiet ta' meta kien għadu żgħir, jew x'kienu qalulna l-ġenituri, jew kont bullied fuq ix-xogħol. Biex nagħtu tama, ma trauma tista' tiġi mejjuna, tista' toħroġ minna b'terapija adattata?
Yes, but it takes some time. It takes some time. Because you're nearly going to give the person a new identity, where he lets go, a lot of letting go of what he learned, and relearn something else. I like to describe it as a language. I tell them, you came in talking Maltese and you want to learn Japanese.
Wow.
Get ready to practice for a good year, because if you're 30, 35, for 35 years you've been living in this default. Now to learn a new way of living is not a joke.
Fil-fatt, vera ġejta li kontat naqra ktib propja fuq nies li ikunu overweight ħafna u kellhom addiction għall-ikel. U hekk beda jgħid titinsa lilek innifsek dik il-persuna qisha m'għadixaw u ħanaħdmu fuq persuna ġdida.
Yes.
Imma llum titqgħod naqra attenta wkoll kif titkellem għax jekk tajtek xi ħadd li forsi qed jismana u qed iħossu għandu din il-problema jgħidlek allura jiena m'iniex tajba kif jien.
That's for them to answer. That's for them to answer. But if they're not happy, if they're not comfortable, if they don't feel safe, if they don't feel confident with themselves, then yes, they need to like reboot themselves, if you like.
Proset.
And it's letting go of a lot of things that not only in our childhood, I think in society, social media, Facebook, there are messages, all the time. I need to let go of that, and internally focus on myself. No competition. I'm not competing. I'm just living my life. We have a tendency to compare, Malta's very small as well. So I can understand the concern in it, I'm very concerned how people see me because we're so small. But more anxiety.
Naħseb l-ideali li jisma taħdem jiena dinja ħajti, l-ħajja qasira, jiena dik nemmen ħafna fija, jekk hemm xi ħaġa li tiddejjaq nirrid naħdem fuqha biex niċċaqlaq minnha. Ma nistax I give up u neqpa' dej, I need to work on it.
Some people, I think a lot of people blame, if you like, the external only. So it's either my husband or my kids or society or my job or this, and they get stuck there for quite some time. They want everyone to do the work, but I don't want to do the work, okay? So that takes a lot, like getting them back. You speak to them about them and they take you everywhere. You go
ma
back.
dik hija marbuta jien nafx ġifieri għax għaddejt naqra minnha ma min ikun qed ġeneralment mhux kulħadd ta' forsi jindaħ ikkoreġini waħħal fil-ċirkostanzi kollha. Barra sakemm he owns it u jibda jagħmel xi ħaġa dwarha.
But the owning is the long part.
Okay.
Once the person knows they have power within to change, I think a big chunk is done.
Hemm safe addictions jew le?
Well, if we take addiction as causing, let's say, negative consequences in my life, let's take sports. If I have a sport addiction or a work addiction, and something happens to that addiction where I cannot continue and my life falls apart, then no, it doesn't remain so good to have an addiction of running, for example.
Għaxin għandi identità waħda.
Because, yes, and it becomes so part of your identity, and you're so focused on that when that goes, everything else goes. So you can only have a good addiction when you are really balanced. So when one goes, you can move on the others and move on.
Jista' jkun illi tidħol f'addiction mhux għax tħobb l-addiction as such, imma għax jogħġbok ir-ritwal ta' madwara. Pereżempju noħroġ nixrob mal-ħbieb. Għaliex li nixrob ħatlaqani mal-ħbieb.
Initially, I don't think people actually take a drug for the lifestyle. I don't think that would be the case. But a lot of people think that it is just the drug that is the problem. So when someone stops the drug, especially if they don't have a lot of social support, a network out there, if they stop the drug, then they're okay, which is not the case. Very often, if you really invest in recovery, your whole lifestyle will change, okay? And the big part, it's worse than the drug taking, the lifestyle, the friends, the places, those are harder to let go. Those are much harder.
Vera punt importanti. Inti fil-karriera tiegħek ħdimt mal-familjari wkoll. U din ankwiet tal-ġenituri, tal-familjari, jira li għal-familja jibatu d-daqs jekk mhux iktar, jiddependi miċ-ċirkostanzi. Ħanibda bl-ewwel punt. Jien għada fi għandi tfal teenagers, jien inħossni li ma nistax ngħidilhom toħroġ u tuħ xejn, jew oħroġ u tixrob xejn, għax jekk daw ħajxorbu joħorġu, ħajħidu xorta. What should be my approach, but nitkellem magħhom fuq dal-affarijiet? X'inhu r-rwol ta' ġenituri jew ta' xi ħadd li qed ikabbar iż-żgħażagħ biex ma jidħlux fiha? Għax dik kollu somtu ċajt, isu kulħadd ħajprova at the end of the day mhux ħajsimgħu mill-mami. Imma jiena xirrid jien naf nissapportihom dejjem ma noħnoqhomx f'dak li qed jagħmlu?
I believe children, even adolescents, but adolescents troppo tardi naħseb.
Eżatt.
They learn by observing behavior, not by...
Oh, wow.
Okay, so billi tajdli and then like you do the opposite or we're not going to learn. Anzi, conflict in the message you're giving me. It is a dilemma, it is. Many parents carry the responsibility when it comes to addiction.
And do they blame themselves?
They blame themselves. Again, Malta small or Sharukaza Yakelma, which is, oh my God. We shame people, especially a woman, a mother. If my child takes drugs, then I am a bad mother, equals, you know. So they take the responsibility. Now, when they take too much of that, their child will be very relaxed, you know. Like, was it who's the client? Yeah, you know? Because they absorb the whole problem. You know, did you come for the appointment? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? And you can't. You have to give the responsibility, at least 3/4 of it, on the child. Issa, to answer your question, one of the greatest things I believe in is safety. Again, so instead of preaching, I think the message to the parents is, again, we have to go across many borders here and many cultures, is that you can come home and share it. And I will not judge you and shame you. I think once we have that, things might change a bit.
Wow.
You know, because you find many people saying, no, le, musa najdu l-alma, ma tarax, dik tmut, bl-inkwiet.
Eżatt.
Okay, so we hide and we don't say and we have family secrets. But the family secrets cause a kind of air in the house. Okay, we know that there are things we don't know. Okay, and that doesn't feel safe. You know, the people phone me up behind their child's back. I don't like that because we feel things, no? We feel that two people know something, I don't know it. So the safety that I can go home, feel safe to share, and you're going to support me without judgment. I think that is the message, you know, instead of like, don't take drugs and don't drink and don't.
Kemm spiċċajt messaġġ sabiħ naħseb vera naqbel miegħek hekk u vera nippruvaw nagħmlu żbalji ta' kemm il-darba, imma dik hija xi ħaġa li dejjem inżomm f'moħħi li nixtieq li tfal kif jiftħu jagħlqu l-bieb jistrieħu id-dar.
And don't forget the message in the negative if you don't take drugs. Drugs still pops up in my mind. Whether you tell me take them or not, you are giving me an image of drugs and alcohol there. So if it wasn't there with your help, it's there now. So I wouldn't even mention it. I would just try and produce safety and forget the judgment.
Għadda ma nafx kif imma l-ħarġa li xtaqt insaqsik, affarijiet mhux li jġildu ma li jżommuk il-bot li inti dejjem tissuġġerixxi bħal mindfulness pereżempju nienu biex naqra l-quotes tiegħek.
Being very present and responding to the way you feel. Because if you're not happy, you need to move from there.
And do something about it.
And do something about it.
Fantastic, vera, thank you, vera ħad speċin, nisimak titkellem. Tkellimna ftit ta' mal-menu konvinta li tajna ftit ta' masma jekk għaddejja minn żmien muru siplajnuna dik li hija l-iktar ħaġa importanti. Siplajnuna minn nies professjonali li jista' jpoġġuk fit-triq it-tajba biex inti toħroġ minn dak il-moment ta' dolur li għaddejja minnu. Grazzi immens, Santina, jiena il-messaġġ tiegħi huwa biex jekk intom taħsbu li xi ħadd ħajgawdi xi ħaġa minn dan il-podcast aqsmuh ixxerjaw, għamlu subscribe fuq il-YouTube u fuq Spotify ħalli dejjem tirċievu l-podcasts illi nkunu qed nagħmlu u seguna. Grazzi ħafna u niltaqgħu f'podcast ieħor.